So this is something that came to my attention um, from a friend named Anne. And this is what you and I spoke about. And I think that this is important. This is a really, really important information that's given here by this lady. And I think that maybe this is the way to go. Um, and I think that, honestly, I think reclassification is what needs to happen. And anyway, I'm gonna just play this, and you tell me what you think. But I think this is kind of huge.
Be getting rid of, even if we didn't have a deficit.
I mean, Marie, that sounds like Doge. I think, well, I'll be very
This
clear.
lady.
I support better government efficiency. I think that government could do a lot of things better. The question is Doge doing it in the right way? And yes, we have a lot of numbers up online by what Larry said, but a lot of those have already been found to be incorrect or outdated or just the absolutely wrong numbers. They don't have completely transparent numbers up online. But I was watching an interview on another network this morning about a woman in West Virginia. She voted for President Trump. She's fully supportive of him. She is one of these probationary employees, but all of her evaluations from her managers have been stellar, the highest you can get. And yet she was fired by Doge for poor performance, because legally that's the only way they can fire people who are probationary, by saying it's for poor performance. So there's a flip side to this. Do you balance the budget and cut the deficit by actually tackling entitlements, by looking at these tax cuts, much of which go to high-income earners? Or do you do what Doge is doing, which is Larry, let me finish, I didn't interrupt you. Or do you do it by what Doge is doing, which is firing veterans at the VA, people who work curing cancer and working on vaccines, right? They are going after government employees who make 50,000. But Kaylee, those are real Americans.
And to Larry's point,
and they are getting. Wait, let me finish.
Tax break all the way down to the lowest.
Kaylee, those are real Americans, and they are getting fired, and many of them supported Donald Trump. And so politically and morally, at the end of this,
so where do you want to cut?
We will all.
Marie, where do you?
I think there's a lot you can. First of all, I don't think that these tax cuts for the wealthy should be.
Definition is a short-term period. It's a trial period.
But Lisa, you can't.
So as you can see, they're focusing on the big picture. And I hate to say it, but some people, because of their classification, are being seen as a small picture, which isn't right. And so that's what needs to be reclassified. Everybody who is being seen as a small picture, because they're going to continue to get fired. And so I think that that the current system has veterans classified as DEI. And so when they go in for these jobs and they're going in as DEI, because of the cuts, they're getting fired as well. And so I just think it's a simple reclassification issue where, just change the fact that they're not DEI. They're not DEI hire, call them something else. And once you call them something else, then they stop getting fired. And it's the same thing with people who've lost their jobs because they've been what do you call it? They were hired to do something else, like within the year. And so because they've been hired to do something else within the year, whether it's, I don't know, something higher up, because of course you don't go down on the, on the scale, you go higher up on the scale. And so because they've, their classification has changed, they are no longer seen as, they're not seen as regular employees now. They're seen as the temporary hire, which is nuts. Just because they wanted a better job, they're being put into that temporary hire, temporary classification. And so because everybody who's in the temporary classification is getting fired, then all these people who have been here for years and years and years are getting fired. So I think it's just a simple what do you call it? It just needs to be changed. Like, it's so simple, it's not even funny. All it has to do is, change the, like I said, the D hire, make it into something else so that the veterans aren't fired, and then change the misclassification of what a new hire is, because you're not, some of these people are not new hires. Actually, a lot of them are not new hires, and they're getting fired because they're being considered new hires, which is insane because they've been there for like 10, 20 years. And just because of a simple misclassification, they're getting fired. So I think that needs to change. I hope that makes sense.
Be fired by someone, but in probation, the only way you can be fired is by
Probation.
saying you are poorly performing. And these people are not.
But Marie,
These people
Marie,
are
where's
not.
the Democrat cutting package? Like, where's the proposal?
I can name 5 places we should cut.
Here's a
And
plan.
do you think
Can I
it's
make-
fair for America's toddlers to be saddled?
Do you think it's fair for veterans to be fired by Elon
That's right.
Musk? Do you think that's okay?
When
Do we all think that's okay?
Look,
you were
the GAO, General Accounting
Do we all think
Office,
that's okay?
last
Are you okay
year,
with that, Larry?
listen, the GAO last year came up with the number of $535 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse. That's the GAO. That was during the Biden years. The GAO this year came up with a number, another $135 billion. What Elon Musk is discovering is no secret. The problem, Marie, is simply this. All these studies have been gathering dust on the shelves, and they have not been used actually
But
to
that's not what they're getting rid of.
Everyone,
They're not
guess
getting rid
what?
of waste.
Everyone.
That's not what they're cutting.
And you're on the wrong side of an
She's not on the wrong side.
We can bring up an anecdotal account from another network, and we can also bring up the 0.15% number of those who have actually been fired. And we can bring up the fact that Democrats have yet to put forward a plan to cut spending. Instead, they would like for my 2-year-old and 5-year-old to pay their debts. Ask yourself if that's fair.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me